Hi there everybody and welcome to a special Total Drama Oathgate Island update, or basically just a channel update for short. Um, it's actually really late at night and I was sort of laying in bed. My sleep schedule is kind of all messed up because I'm on break and I've been on a weird sleep pattern, but I was laying in bed and I saw a meme picture about Total Drama All-Stars, and this person basically highlighted all the worst things that happened in the season to be the best things, and it just seemed like the most trollish thing to me. It just kind of made me upset knowing that in the lore of Total Drama, that's how things actually are, and it made me it really frustrated me and also made me very mad. The reason why it made me mad was because other people are going to see this and think it's correct or right, which in some people's point of view it is going to be correct. But for me personally, I don't believe that what happened in Total Drama All Stars should even be canon, which means like I don't believe that that season should have occurred. And if I had to hold Total Drama, I would just retcon that season and just say it didn't happen. That's what I would do. Like honestly, if I had the money to buy the Total Drama franchising everything, I would retcon All Stars, just because it was so bad and so many different things could have happened in that it just seems inappropriate to keep it around. But like I said, I digress. I can't buy Total Drama. I can't do those sorts of things. But what I would do is, if I could, I'd retcon it. But honestly, I wouldn't want to retcon it because if it's there, it proves it's kind of like a low point. Actually, Total Drama Island was an open, like a high point, and they've been struggling to reach that high point for so long. And since they've set the bar so high with Island, setting the bar so low with All Stars kind of equalizes it out, so like they can't do any worse than that. And that's a really sad thing to say, is that you can go worse than supposedly that's supposed to be the best season of all time. Your All Star season isn't supposed to be your shittiest season. I think most people rank it below TDA, which honestly, Total Drama Action is my favorite season because Duncan won, and everybody on my channel knows that my favorite character is Duncan. So whatever, I just like Duncan. Okay, I can't say enough, and every time I do a video. But honestly, this is what I'm here to say, guys. I'm going to be doing a character reveal today, and I'm going to be giving you some big major news. Hopefully you guys will get your friends on board to get this going. So I've been holding back on a lot of information from you guys, a lot of it. And today it's all going to come towards you. So today's character reveal is going to be a character that I know off the top of my head. I don't need a piece of paper. I don't need to be looking at my hands to do this one. I can tell you guys who this character is. And also, actually it's going to be two, because on the blog, you guys actually voted after at least 3 rounds of getting rid of people. I started with 16, I put it down to 8, then I put it down to 4. No, wait. Yeah, it was at 8, and I put it down to 4, and now you guys finally got it to 4. Only 1 though, you're still missing 1, so I will update the blog on which post is still going, and I will remove 2 characters, and then maybe you guys will figure it out. So, for this character reveal, I'm going to be doing a very important character reveal. Both of them are very important to the series. So I'm going to dive into the blog character reveal first. So in the vote, you guys, the voters, think there was over 400 votes at the first round, and then it slowly declined because I didn't change it for a while, because I was hoping you guys would get it the first time, but you guys didn't. So I had to redo it. But you guys managed to get it this time, which is freaking awesome. Okay, I'm just making sure I was still recording. But you guys managed to get it, which I was super happy about. I was like, yes, I can finally do this video. And last time I checked, this character was in the lead, and I'm going to go from that point on because I'm not going to go back and look. So here's the character reveal for Gwen. So everybody voted Gwen as the winner, but she's coming back in a different form. And how are you guys going to think about that? Let's take a look at Gwen's character. So Gwen is the oldest sibling in her family, and she's with her single parent mother. Gwen went on Total Drama to win the money for her mom and to help pay for her college tuition. But what happened to Gwen's dad? Who is Gwen's father? Is he dead? Did they have a divorce? Did something happen? We don't know. But what I can tell you is what I perceived would have happened. What if I told you that Gwen had a twin sister named Jen? And no, I don't mean Jen like from 16, because Megan Fallenbach just happens to voice Gwen, and then another character called Jen. The names happen to rhyme. If I was going to give Gwen a twin, I would name her Jen regardless. Because no other female name matches Gwen better than Jen. So here we go for the character reveal of Jen. I'm a little bit iffy on Jen's title. I'm going to call her the ultra goth loner. Because obviously she's a little bit more goth than her younger sister. That's right. Jen was born first. So, here's the story. When Gwen and Jen were just babies, their parents had a divorce, a very bad divorce. And Jen's father managed to get custody of Jen, and Gwen's mother got custody of Gwen, and the two went their separate ways. But here's the deal. Gwen thinks that her dad is a scumbag who left them for another woman. And technically, that's sort of true. He's not a scumbag, but he did leave her for another woman. So there's that. And then I can divulge into it a little bit more. And Jen's father was so upset with what happened because he lost everything almost besides Jen, that when Jen got older, he told Jen that her mom had died. So that's how salty he was about the whole thing. He's like, don't ask me about your mom, Jen. She died in a car accident. Okay, so that's what he told Jen. So Jen's believed her whole life that her mother's been dead, and Gwen's believed most of her life that her father deserted them. So both of them are really very distant from their other parent that's not in their lives. And of course, on Total Drama Sky Island, Carter manages to get a video sent to him from Jen's stepbrothers. Jen has two older stepbrothers, one's 21, one's 20, and they're the sons of the woman that her dad married. So those are her stepbrothers, and they basically sign her up for Total Drama against her will, and she has to go. Because they forced her signature, they did all that stuff, and she's forced to go now. She's under contract. So she gets sent to Total Drama Sky Island. And she is going to rip apart the fabric of the show in a good way. She's going to help everybody get back on board with the original Gwen character we liked. But Jen is a little bit more dark. She has a very harsh story behind her, that in high school, a bunch of boys put a prank on her where the most popular guy in their school was paid $20 to date her for a month, and then he would dump her. And basically she fell in love with him, and then when he dumped her, it was a big joke, and she was heartbroken, and she vowed to never trust a boy or anybody ever again. And she didn't want the world to see her face, so she put on the face paint and all the black stuff, and now she looks the way she is. And that's sort of her backstory. And Jen is a lot like her sister in the very first season, very, secretive, very alonerish to herself, and that's sort of her deal. And as you all know, I can't just re-explain Gwen because this character is a lot like Gwen in tons of ways, and it's just that original Gwen character that we love and like. To go further into her, she's a little more musically talented than her sister. She's way more musically talented. She can play the piano, the drums, and the guitar. That's because her father who wanted her to play instruments. So she ended up picking cool instruments like the piano, guitar, and drums because she likes the rock music type stuff. So that's basically her stick. She's like a musician, but she's also a very good artist, like her sister Gwen. Often on Oski Island, you'll see her in her sketchbook like Gwen was in season 1 as well. And that's kind of how we'll see her. Throughout the season, you'll get to see her overcome this past traumatic thing she's had happen to her with a certain character on the island that helps her get through this very traumatic experience, because this character's also experienced something very traumatic themselves, and they know what it's like to lose somebody you think you're in love with. So that's basically who she ends up falling in love with, and it's the guy character she falls in love with. It is very, very he's very centered, he's very stable, and he's kind of the opposite of her in lots of ways, but they're also the same in so many ways, which is totally great for chemistry, and you guys are going to love to see them on screen because lots of the future plans involve her and her significant other fixing the problems that have happened before. She helps intervene with the corny Gwen thing. she helps intervene with tons of things. She helps Gwen in so many ways that it's unparalleled to anybody else in the season. Nobody else could help anybody more than Jen helps Gwen when they finally meet together. That's also a big thing, is that in the West Coast All Stars, when Jen, or no, in the Mega All Stars, when Jen meets Gwen, that is a huge explosion of drama. But you guys are yet to guess the other contestant, so I can't really divulge into that part of her thing as well, because, yeah, so to get into more, so Jen is the twin sister of Gwen, as you guys have probably figured it out. And I think it works very well because there's more than one instance where parents have split up and taken each twin for themselves. But I wanted to really amp it up a bit. Like I wanted dad, Gwen and Jen's dad, to take Jen halfway across the country just to get away from his ex-wife and live somewhere else, not have to deal with her, and just live with Jen and his new wife. So I think you guys will like Jen, just because she's going to remind you so much of Gwen in season 1, because she's going to go through a completely different character development story than Gwen did, and that's why Jen is going to be able to help Gwen so much more with her struggling personality, identity crisis she has. People don't know if she's goth, or if she's hanging out with the nerds, or if she's hanging out with Mike and Zoe and Cameron, and God forbid, shoot me in the mouth. That's a thing. But really, I think Gwen had a role to play in All Stars that she didn't get to do because the writers sucked, and Fresh TV acknowledged that because they've openly said they fired them halfway through the writing of All Stars. By that point, they had already fucked it up so much that there was no going back. Or I think it was they kept them all the way through All Stars and then fired them for Pocket 2 Island, which is even worse. So, they probably should have caught that earlier. Yeah. So they probably should have caught that earlier, or have, really looked at these people's work before they hired them, because they totally they fucked it up badly. Like, that is some harsh fucking up. That's like digging a hole full of sodium and then just saying, oh, that's just rock. Let's dump some water in there, and then having a big explosion happen and shit fly everywhere. When you're in the eye of the sheet of cane, you try and get out of it, but you're climbing a shit rope. But, like I said, I digress. They're writing TV shows, and I'm not. Well, they're probably not writing TV shows anymore, unless it's not total drama. But, I digress. I'm not writing TV shows, and they are. So, obviously, there's something that Tom McGillis and them saw in them that they didn't see in me. Whatever. So, I think I'm going to jump out of the Jen storyline. If you guys want to know more about that, I will go into it. But this is a huge character reveal coming up next. This is the character reveal for a character that I know off the tip of my head. This is a character that I wrote his own show for. This is the first time I'm going to reveal that he actually is in 2 of my TV shows. The reason why when I wrote him, I gave him a very harsh backstory. But then I wanted to go into that backstory a little bit more, so I wrote just like a one-off episode about what happened. But then I couldn't fit all in one episode, so I said, why don't I make this a series? And then I was like, well, why don't I make this its own show that leads into him being on Total Drama? It'd be epic. And it is epic, and I love it. And that's why I'm plugging right now the Jesse Gil Story. So Jesse Gil from the Jesse Gil Story is on Total Drama Oskay Island. After the 2nd season of the Jesse Gil Story, he will go to Total Drama Oskay Island, and he will be recruited by Carter as a special guest. And here is his title. This is Jesse Gil, the #1 most dangerous teen in Canada. And that is his running title. Jesse Gil was involved in a horrendous and terrible accident that left him labeled as the #1 most dangerous teen in Canada, when really he was just trying to save somebody. So what he did, I won't diverge into, because that's going to spoil the end of the Jesse Gil Story. So at the very end of season 1 of the Jesse Gil Story, he gets arrested. In the 2nd season, he gets sent to juvenile hall. This is where he meets some special characters, and this is how I'm going to fix Mike. So before Mike went to Total Drama Revenge of the Island, he went from juvenile hall to juvenile hall as Mal. And then after Jesse Gil is this amazing character, and some of you guys who have read my rewrite of All Stars know that in my version of giving Mike a better backstory, Jesse Gil is the one who sealed Mal away for the first time. And he did this in a very special way. and I'm gonna reveal how he manages to do this in the character reveal here. So this is Jesse Gil. Jesse Gil is number one most dangerous teen in Canada. He's probably one of my most versatile characters. I really like writing him. He's a problem solver. He can take any character conflict that I have and that is existing in the show, and he can find a way to fix it. And that's just because I write him from my point of view. He has my point of view in the show, and he can see the problems and just say, well, here's the solution. But he's also very troubled in his own ways. The reason why that is because when Jesse Gil was little, his older brother used to beat him up a lot. So to create like a defense mechanism for himself, he made this evil alter ego in his mind called Evil Jesse. And Evil Jesse will sometimes take over and do what Jesse can't do because Jesse Gil is so kind-hearted. There's some things that Jesse Gil can't do by himself. So he reverts to this alter ego he's made that he switches into to solve these problems that he doesn't have the heart to handle. And that's where the Jesse Gil story will explain that part. But in Total Drama Skate Island, Jesse Gil has the ability to handle those situations and do that without Evil Jesse. And Evil Jesse will try to break free during Oskay Island to basically get what he wants, which is what was left over in the Total Drama, in the Jesse Gil story. So it's going to be really awesome because nearly like the end of a couple seasons with Jesse Gil, you'll get to see the characters from the Jesse Gil story come back to help Jesse Gil. And that's like, and I'm counting, if we do Oskay Island, and then we do Western All-Stars and Mega All-Stars, there's going to be one more season after that. So it's 4 seasons with Jesse Gil in it, where he's going to start just unrooting the shittiness of All-Stars and fixing it and, handling one problem at a time. And hopefully, if we get enough hype and Tom and them see this and decide they want to do this, we can maybe fix Total Drama, get the 10 seasons, and fix the problems we've had. Because right now we're at season 6. I have 4 seasons planned. That goes to 10. And I actually have an ending to cut off and maybe end Total Drama or keep it going. And I would like to keep it going, but if they want to do 10 and 10 only, this is an awesome way to end the series on a good note that will make people smile and not hate the show forever for having a crappy ending, like All Stars did. So, I'm going to divulge into Jesse Gil. So Jesse Gil is a very versatile character. He's very athletic. He's good at fighting. He's good at figuring stuff out. He's good at strategizing. Him and Alex get along very well on the show. And Jesse Gil is the one who basically helps Alex overcome all of his self-confidence issues and his inner problems because Jesse Gil has gone through those problems. Jesse Gil is the character that's going to basically help solve everybody's problems by giving them a slight push in the right direction because he knows what's going on. He's going to give them that slight push that pushes them towards success and makes you guys like him more, likes the characters he helps more. In a certain way, Jesse Gil is the person that basically helps set up every single couple in the entire show. Now, I'm only going to reveal this one character matchup. Actually, I'm going to reveal it's not a matchup. Jesse Gil is involved in a love triangle on the show. As in the Jesse Gil story, he is involved in multiple love triangles. And he's involved in a love triangle in season 1 of the Jesse Gil story. He's involved in a second one. Or basically a love triangle with an arrow leading to one person. And that's the other one. And that's in season 2. So to get into Jesse Gil, he has a love triangle in Total Drama Skate Island. And if you guys are probably going to guess it in the comments, so I'm just going to reveal that he's in a love triangle with Jen and Kimberly. So Jen and Kimberly are supposed to be the Gwen and Courtney of Total Drama Skate Island. Kimberly being more nice than evil. Because Kimberly is very, I'm going to say she's very, what's the word I'm looking for? She's very naive. And she has lots of problems that she hasn't met yet. And Jesse Gil is going to help her deal with those problems so they don't end up, hurting her and, putting her through a traumatic experience like him and Jen have gone through. That's what Jesse Gil is to her. And in the very first episode, you'll see them have their couple first interactions. And Jesse Gil is the first person to basically help Kimberly overcome one of her first initial insecurities that she has on the show. And I think it's very big because it kind of sets the stage for their ensuing love triangle relationship and Jesse Gil as a character. And Kimberly's a character, and he also helps Jen in the first episode. And I wanted to have a bunch of homages in the show. Like I have an homage to The Big Sleep, where Trent and Gwen are gazing at stars. I have Jesse Gil and Jen staring at are gazing at the stars. I have an homage to Basic Straining, where basically Kimberly and Jesse have their moments, and it's basically homages to Total Drama Island in totally different ways, which is I think is awesome because Jesse Gil he's a character that solves so many problems. Like with Isabella, when she deals with a problem on the show, Jesse Gil is the one that basically says, "Hey, I see what you're doing there, and if you wanted to do that, why don't you just do it? Like, don't be afraid to be you shouldn't let people boss you around because you're smarter than them and you want to be popular. Jesse Gil helps every single competitor in the show, almost all of them, solve their problems, besides the ones that leave early or the ones that are against him. He basically gives them all a good ease out to their character before they leave, so you're not like, well, there was there was an ended conflict there. This thing didn't end without a total resolution. Jesse Gil gives the resolution because I don't want anybody hanging on a hook like, oh no, what happened to them? Jesse Gil always has like a run out for them. He's like, hey, here's your like, and I'm talking from like a plot point of view. He'll be like, here's your resolution, you can leave in peace now, and then they'll leave, and you'll be like, yeah, I'm okay with them leaving. They got their ending. And that's what Jesse Gil does for almost every single character if it's not given throughout the story or like the overall meaning of the episode. And I'm going to dive into an episode where the Castaway All-Stars return. Obviously people are like, well, aren't they gonna know that Jen is Gwen's sister? In this episode, Jen decides to not wear the makeup anymore because of what Jesse Gil has done for her, and she decides to use it all at once, get rid of it all, so she never uses it again. She basically like decals her face out with a bunch of black paint, and they're like, oh, it's just some face painted weirdo. Yeah, so when she meets the All-Stars, her face is all painted up with tons of decals and like not like paint, and she's got different designs on it just because she wants to get rid of it all, so she never uses it again. And basically, this starts the healing. This starts the healing with Courtney and Scott. We get to see that outcome because they weren't mentioned in the finale. We get to see that outcome. We get to see we get to see the outcome with Duncan because he's been with Gwen for so long, he immediately notices that there's something about Jen that reminds him of Gwen, but he can't really put his finger on it. And him and Jesse kind of hit it off because Duncan at that point is being sent back to jail, and Jesse is going to be sent to jail also when he's finished the show because he's on special probation to go to Total Drama Island because Carter specifically asked for him. So when the show's over, he's going back to jail. So Jesse and Duncan immediately form this friendship, and it's kind of like I'm going to say it's a bromance because Jesse and Duncan become so good of friends in the short time they're there. When Jesse leaves, he says, I want to be sent to where Duncan is, because Jesse figures out from the other All-Stars what happened to Duncan. They figure out that Duncan was just trying to help Gwen because even the hero All-Stars like Sam, Sierra, and Lindsay know what Duncan was trying to do because they were watching it. They knew what he was trying to do, and they understood, but Gwen didn't because she got eliminated for the finale, so she had no chance to see what Duncan was trying to do. And they're all sympathetic for Duncan, and they try to be his friend. Like all the heroes like Duncan, and that's just like that's how the episode goes. Like Lindsay is like, you were such a hero, Duncan, like yippee, and she acts all girly, and Duncan's like, yeah, whatever, well, you guys see me as a hero, but Gwen doesn't. She thinks I'm just some big jerk. And Courtney, when Jesse meets Duncan back in jail, Jesse basically just interrogates Duncan. He says because he happens to get a hold of the All-Star tapes before the finale, and he basically asks Doug, he's like, what was all that about? What's this? And Duncan basically just gives Jesse the answer, and I'm going to tell you guys the answer just so you know where I'm coming from before you guys jump down my throat. I think if I was to write a fix for this, I would say Duncan was worried about Courtney and what she thought because he wanted Courtney to see him with Gwen. Duncan wanted Courtney to see him with Gwen because he wanted Courtney to know that he was happy without her because she made his life so miserable when they were together. And that's why I think Duncan would have done that. And that's my best explanation for it. Because if Duncan wanted Courtney back, he would just fucking do it. He wouldn't be with Gwen for a year if he really wanted Courtney. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I think Duncan wanted Courtney to know that he was happy with Gwen and that he loved her. And he wanted Courtney to see that and know that. He wanted to basically rub it in her face. And this is where Jesse goes, he like basically like flicks Duncan on the nose and goes, no, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't care what she thinks because she's your ex. Like, you should just be happy with who you're with because you're happy with them. You don't need to prove to your ex you're happy with somebody else because that's just a douche move. And Duncan's like, well, now I know that because now I've lost her. And then just basically Jesse and Duncan go through this huge, epic transformation of Duncan into basically going from a juvenile delinquent into a responsible human being. And Jesse Gil will like give Duncan like advice, he'll train him, and he'll basically like help him overcome these bad things he has and replace them with good things. And even Jesse says, Duncan, you're not a bad person, you're just misunderstood. Like, you're misunderstood in so many ways that I see them immediately, but nobody else does because they just see the face you've given everybody. But Jesse has this ability to see into the hearts of people and know who they really are. And that's basically Jesse's power, and that's just basically how Jesse is. He can immediately identify people just by, seeing them. And even in OK Island, he's not perfect. Like, he doesn't identify the villains off the bat, but he can sort of get a feeling after a couple episodes of who is bad and who is good. And Jesse also helps with Courtney's problem, and he gives Courtney lots of good advice. And what I've written for him and Courtney is very, very, it's very deep in my opinion. Like, the way Jesse Gil talks to Courtney, because Jesse Gil is a very, very smart person as well. He's not just a big brute that has the inner workings of a genius. He's very, like, he's not like stupidly does things smartly. Like, I'm just trying to say that he has the power to identify certain things. Like, Jen will often comment on Jesse's analytical skills and how he's able to decipher things without even knowing the real answer. Like, and he's just, that's the way he is. Like, and he doesn't know why either. He says, well, I know these things, but I don't know how I know them. It's just his intuition and everything like that. But him and Courtney have this special kind of relationship because Jen often goes head to head with Courtney after she finds out what Courtney did to Gwen. She often goes head to head with Courtney because Jesse teaches Jen how to fight to boost her self-confidence, because after the whole thing, she doesn't feel that very confident in herself. And Jesse teaches her how to fight like he does, because at the end of season 2 of the Jesse Gil story, Jesse Gil is involved in a very large fight. And basically, he was trained by his cellmate Steven to basically help him defend himself while in juvenile hall. And because all the other top 10 that are on the list with him, they didn't think he was that bad, so they tried to basically dethrone him by taking him out. But Jesse Gil is probably the baddest teen in Canada, so he's pretty awesome. He's the baddest man on the planet type deal, like the UFC. He's the heavyweight champion of Canada's teens, and nobody messes with Jesse Gil, and that's kind of the way I want him to be. But he's also this like gentle kind of person that is very affectionate and loving of others, and he's just so good in so many ways, and he can fix so many problems in the show. Like, I have him fixing so many problems. Like, I have him fixing Sky and Dave. If I get the Western All-Stars, like my season versus the Pakatu Island season, or the best of my season versus Pakatu Island season cast, Jesse Gil will be the one who helps get Sky and Dave together. And he even helps Ella find a love interest besides Dave. Let me just check this really quick. Cool. But yeah, he helps Ella find a love interest besides Dave, and basically Jesse helps explain it to Ella, and because I think I have it written in a certain plot point that after Dave was left on the island, he became sort of like this maniac, like Ezekiel, but Jesse was able to like snap him out of it and go like, hey man, you just need to calm down for a second. Because at the beginning of All Stars, in the episode I wrote, was that at first it was 12 on 12, but they said, well, we gotta, like, Sky and Ella wanted to go get Dave from Pakatu Island because they're going to Natawate Island, I think it was. I found the Cree word for war, and it's Natawate or something like that. So they're gonna go on Natawate Island, and it's in between Oskay Island and Pakatu Island. So it's basically in the middle. and Sky and Ella want to go get Dave, and Jesse Gil volunteers to help them go get him because they're not sure if he's alive on that island or if Scuba Bear is still on the island, and they say, well, we'll send Jesse Gil to help get him. And basically nobody on Pocket 2 team wants Dave back because he was nothing but a big crybaby, and like it's 10-2 for votes to get Dave, and Sky and Ella want to go get Dave. And then Jesse says, well, we'll take Dave and we'll give you our two baddest people, and then we'll make it 13-13. And basically Chris says, okay, cool, I'll take the two you want to give up because they're actually really good competitors, but they were a pain in Jesse's neck throughout the first season. So Jesse goes with Ella and Sky to go get Dave. And basically Jesse helps Dave return back to normal society and, helps him understand what he did wrong, because nothing is worse for a guy than not getting a girl and not knowing why. So Jesse decides to give Dave that closure and make him understand what he did wrong. And it kind of gives closure to why everything ended the way it did in Pocket 2. And it makes people not so sad for Ella anymore. And there's tons of other things that happen as well. So like I said, if I manage to get things if I manage to get things going sort of my way, that's the stuff you can see to happen. Is Jesse Gil will help solve these problems that have occurred in the most amazing ways, and you guys will be like, that actually, like, it flows so good in my opinion. Like, it flows so nicely together. Like, Jesse Gil meets the All-Stars. To get the All-Stars, he has to face the Pocket 2 cast. The Pocket 2 cast tell Jen about Gwen. Gwen has the incentive to win to get their cast to go to the All-Star season. Jesse Gil has to go through his own personal problems with the Pocket 2 cast, and also he helps solve the problem between Sammy and Amy. Sammy and Amy play a huge role in Western All-Stars. Huge role. And that's because they are twins, and Jen is missing her twin. So basically, the two twins, I think it's Sammy and Jen become very good friends because Sammy likes Gwen as a competitor. She's like, Gwen, she's like, Jen, your sister's my favorite competitor ever. I love Gwen. And then her sister's like, well, my favorite competitor is the other contestant that I haven't revealed yet that's in the poll. So basically, both of the twins get to have their idolized contestants' other version in the season with them. So Sammy and Jen get to hang out, and then Amy and her and the other contestant get to hang out together because Amy idolizes the other person. Yeah, it's a whole thing. I wish I could reveal the character and make more sense at that point. But like there's so many plot points that Jen and Jesse go through together, and it's a huge thing. And with Jesse when he meets Duncan in jail, I'm kind of jumping around because after Pocket 2 Island season, Jesse has to go get Duncan for the All-Stars because Chris reveals that he's not taking Duncan. So she says, well, I gotta go get him then. Because if Gwen's coming, I need to go get Duncan. And because if Jesse hears Duncan's problem on Grenada or in Oskay Island, and from Oskay Island they go right to Natawate Island or Natawakaten Island. So after Natawate Island Western All-Stars, Jesse goes back to jail to get Duncan, bust him out, go find the next All-Star Island, and then get Duncan on there. And this is why he's going to do it. Because Jesse figured out why Duncan was so upset at that finale. Or he finds out why Duncan was so upset during their season and what the All-Stars are talking about. He wants to help Duncan basically rebuild himself and get Gwen back. Because he believes that Duncan is he sounds like the right guy for Gwen's sister Jen. But obviously Jesse hasn't met Gwen, so he's not really sure. That's his main thing, is he is not sure. So when he goes to jail to get Duncan, his parole officer is his buddy, and they owe each other because of what happened in season 2. So Jesse and his parole officer are very good friends, and his parole officer is in charge of watching Jesse Gil at all times. So when he finds Duncan in jail, Duncan is basically distraught. They've been in competition for 6 months while Duncan's been, or no, I would say 3 months since Duncan's been in jail, and Duncan is basically just miserable. He's depressed. He's upset. He is basically loathing because he's lost everything. And this helps set up the Mega All-Star season very well because it gives Duncan redemption. It gives Gwen redemption. It helps keep Gwen as a total all-star competitor in all the right ways, and it makes Duncan come back, and it helps just totally cement his hero-like personality, because in All Stars, when Duncan was labeled the hero, he became a sissy because he believed that that's how heroes were supposed to be. And Jesse helps Duncan decipher this problem. He says, just because you're a hero doesn't mean you have to act heroic. He says, I'm not a hero, but people believe I am because I help the people I love. And it just happens to be that I love everybody. So that's why people label me a hero, but honestly, I'm just doing it because that's what I want to do, not because it's the right thing to do. And then Duncan realizes that he can be a hero in his own way. And that's how Jesse helps Duncan basically overcome this slighted image that heroes are these square people that basically are do-gooders like Superman, when really you can be a hero, but you can also still be a badass. And Jesse helps Duncan understand that. Then Duncan's like, okay, I'm going to embrace my true hero nature and, be a good guy. And then Jesse takes Duncan through this big personal, like his own little like Rocky montage of, overcoming his little personality, his bad behaviors, and Jesse basically helps mold Duncan into like a hero version. He helps mold Duncan into the hero version that he truly is. And he helps Duncan become basically the him of his season. So Jesse Gil has to when he gets to the All-Star 2 island, Chris versus Carter, the first thing he has to overcome is Courtney and her attraction to another character. I want to say in the All-Stars season, this is what should have happened in All-Stars, because even the promo picture even foreshadowed this. I don't know why this didn't happen. In the promo picture for Total Drama All-Stars, you can see Courtney and Heather glaring at each other. But in the series, they never fought that often. And I was like, well, in the promo picture of Heather and Courtney are fighting over something, what could it be? When was the last time we saw them? Oh, in All-Stars. What were they fighting over in All-Stars again? Oh, wasn't it Alejandro? Oh, so we're gonna see an Alejandro-Heather love triangle on the villains team. Oh my god, holy shit. But that didn't happen. We had this stupid Scott shoelace ring bullshit that didn't make any sense either, and was obviously forced, because you can tell it's a forced relationship when you have the characters falling on each other to kiss. Seriously, if they can't just have a kiss moment like Duncan and Gwen did in the X-Files and World Tour, it's a shitty couple. Like, Bridget flung Alejandro, totally forced, but Alejandro ended up stabbing her in the back. Having characters falling each other to kiss is such a fucking cliche in that show now. I'm really mad about it, and I made sure that in my season, all the freaking kiss moments are just fucking legit. It literally makes me mad. Like, the falling kiss crap is so fucking overrated and so overused and so cliche and so done with. Like, that's how forced that relationship was. They had them falling each other to kiss. And then there was the whole Cameron Courtney kiss thing. Like, they just don't give a fuck anymore. Oh my god. Like, I look on the wiki and I see, like, I remember the wiki used to have like statistics like that kind of bullshit. Like, Courtney has kissed so many guys and Duncan has kissed so many girls. And it's just like, fuck, Courtney's gonna have, like, on there. And there's oh my god, it's so awful. But in the All-Star season that I want to do, Jesse helps Courtney with this Courtney Alejandro Heather love triangle, and Courtney is adamant about trying to get Alejandro, because I'm not going to reveal any spoilers, but Jesse can see that something else is happening and Courtney is the victim, but he can't get Courtney to see that she's becoming a victim, and it's going to be a traumatic experience for her, because it's going to be so harsh and so evil. It's going to ruin her like it did Jen. He doesn't want that to happen to Courtney. But Jen is having a huge conflict with Courtney, because Courtney is all over Gwen for basically backstabbing her in the first All-Star season. So Jen doesn't want to help, but Jesse does. Jen understands that. She's cool with it because she knows Jesse is just a nice guy. So it's a huge, huge, huge thing going on here. Like, it is so massive, it's hard to wrap your head around. And in this half an hour long video, let me just check, 40-minute long video, like, I can't even explain how much Jesse Gil affects the regular like the original cast, because in the Mega All Stars, it's gonna be the first season versus Carter's first or Chris's first season cast versus Carter's first season cast. That's all it's gonna be, and maybe I'll change it to have the Revenge of the Island characters in it and the Pahkitew Island cast, but I will have to wait and see, because I have heavily plotted the plot of the Mega All Stars to only involve Carter and Chris's first season cast. But I have some things I want to do. I wanted to involve Ella and her love interest, and I want to involve Dave and Sky because they become part of Jesse's trio of heroes. And I want there to be like this huge overall plot that we're going to experience in the season after Mega All Stars. But like I said, I would love to indulge in this to make you guys super hyped up for it, but I don't want to spoil it for you. I've already given so many spoilers today that I want you guys to just be shaking at your fucking computers on your keyboards, just going, this needs to happen. And it's about time I started to do this, because I keep seeing this nonsense on here, and I really just want Total Drama to return to the glory it is. And like, I apologize for like all my cursing and stuff, but I really just have to get my point across by saying, like, this needs to happen. There's nothing else that they can do to fix Total Drama besides doing this, and I highly believe that. Unless they do what I think is correct, I don't think they can get out of this. And I'm not saying that because I believe I'm right all the time. I'm saying it because I believe what I have is what can save it. And lots of people can say, well, you're not, like, you're not you're not like a big writer or anything. Like, they don't just hire people like you all the time. And it's like, I don't give a shit what you have to say. I've written something professionally. I've worked on it for the past, since I was 16. For the past 5 years, I've been writing this and editing it and making sure it's perfect. And they don't have that kind of time when they make a TV show. They have to like write it in 6 months, get it out, make it in 6 months, publish it. But I've had 5 years to refine this. Like, I've just polished it so much. It's amazing. Like, I'm pretty sure this is what can save the show, is Jesse Gil and the cast behind him that he gathers throughout his journeys in the show. And that's the reason why I gave Jesse Gil his own show, is because I believe, because of what he experienced in the Jesse Gil story, he has the ability to save the show and make it awesome and fun again. And that's just what I believe. You guys, I keep getting people asking me about All Stars, and I just have to say, like, it's not great, but literally I can monologue about All Stars for 24 hours straight, and it still doesn't change the fact it happened. So instead of talking about how shitty and awful it was, I want to fix it. It's kind of like saying the ghetto is shitty and awful. Fuck that place. But a real person says the ghetto is shitty and awful. Let's fix it. And that's what I want to do. I don't just want to sit here and bitch about All Stars forever. I want to put it behind me and say, okay, how can we fix it? And this is how I want to fix it, is by doing this. And it's the only way I believe we can fix it, is by doing what I've been polishing for 5 years to save it. You guys might be saying, well, All Stars didn't happen in 5 years. I planned that shit. I planned to have Duncan and Gwen break up in the actual plot that I was writing. I wanted it to be after World Tour that all the fans of Total Drama hated Gwen so much, like they actually do in real life, because of what happened between Duncan and Courtney. I wanted them to hate Gwen so much and have our real life effects affect the characters in the show like it is reality TV, that Duncan broke up with Gwen to save her the hate of all the Courtney fans so they'd leave her alone. And Gwen felt betrayed by this, and then Duncan felt like an asshole because he basically dumped the girl he loved because he wanted to keep her away from all the public hate. And that's how I plotted the first season. So I plotted my show knowing that I wanted Duncan and Gwen to be broken up at some point on my terms and not in such a shitty way. Man, like I said, sweating like a whore. I'm fucking sweating in here because I'm fucking getting so worked up about this. But anyways, guys, Jesse Gil and Jen, I guess Jesse Gil and Jen play a huge role in the upcoming parts of Total Drama that I have scripted, and hopefully we can get some running behind this before they start doing Total Drama Season 7 or even start doing any work on it. I need Total Drama Scary Island to be Total Drama Season 7. No, wait, I'm fucking it up. Season 6. I need it to be Season 6. Because if not Total Drama, I'm not sure where they're going to go with it from now on. Like, it's in such a weird spot that I think it needs just something to make an overall bigger plot. Like, they have so many characters so far, people don't want to see any more new ones, but I think with the Osuke Island cast, because we have a new host, Carter, we can get more Chris stuff in there, we can get more Carter stuff in there, we can get a bigger plot going all together that leads to a bigger resolution. And that's what I'm hoping for. So, like I said, Jesse Gil is basically the savior of Total Drama, and that's who I've written him to be. And he's the one who helps fix all the problems, and it doesn't feel forced. He basically, each and every conflict that happens in the show, he manages to edge his way in there and, you know, get to know what's going on, and he finds the resolution. And then when he can't find the resolution, something bad happens because somebody listened to him, he's really upset about it, and he gets really mad. And that's when evil Jesse in him, that's when evil Jesse comes out, and then we start seeing a whole other kind of worms with evil Jesse. So, like I said, I'm going to end this video now before I get further into it. If I mentioned something at the beginning that I didn't get to on the video, I'll probably catch it in post and make another video on it some other time. But thank you for watching, guys. This has been a huge, epically long video. It's probably like 50 minutes. 47-minute video. Jesus. But anyways, this has been a long overdue video. You guys have been waiting patiently for the character reveals. I said I'd do one at 1,000 subscribers, but you guys managed to pull this character reveal because we need to get this going right now. It needs to happen right now. I decided to do this one. So this is going to be probably the biggest character reveal I've done in a long time, and thank you guys for watching, and, you know, get this around, you know, get as many Total Drama fans watching this as possible. You know, I know some of you guys in the comments are going to agree with what I'm saying because you think All Stars is good, but I'm pretty sure it's an 80-20 split. 80% think it's shit, 20% think it's good. That's not a good split. So if you're in that 20%, sour to be you, salty, hating it, sour about your life, but all of us cannot just sit back and see the show we love and the characters we love to get torn apart by alpha writers. So thank you for watching. Like I said, comment, rate, subscribe, share it to your friends, share it on social media, get it to the Total Drama fans that you know. If you're part of a group, post it in there and say, hey, check this guy out. He wants to fix Total Drama. He wants to save it. Send him to me. I can educate them. Not really educate, I guess, just give them what can be if I manage to get somewhere in and around that area. So, thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. This has been Jesse Gil with your Total Drama savior video, I guess. But anyways, thank you for watching, and goodbye.